Welcome to Bootstrap Businessmen, the podcast focused on developing the entrepreneur within on a shoestring budget. And I am your host, #1 best-selling fitness author, Dale L. Roberts, and I'm joined by my co-host, the Midwest best, Kevin S. Allen.
Hey, man, how we doing tonight, Dale? How you feeling?
Fantastic, feeling great as usual, of course.
All right, man, same here. Hey, I just wanted to throw a little thing in here. Hey, everybody that's listening, please support the show by simply shopping at Amazon.com. We have a link provided in our show notes. All you got to do is bookmark that in your browser. Anytime you go to shop at Amazon, just click on that. Basically, a small percentage gets kicked back to us. Doesn't cost you any more money. That small percentage helps cover the cost of our show, and overhead. So if you want to keep hearing the awesome, great content and some of the great guests and stuff that we got coming to you, just go in, bookmark that, use that link.
Excellent. Yeah. And hey, remember, if you like the show, then show us some love. Click the follow button on our site at show.bootstrapbusinessmen.com, Stitcher, or iTunes. And the best part is you won't miss out on a single episode if you're following us. And should we decide to have a special pop-up show with exclusive time-sensitive promotions, then you'll know all about it.
Which we've had what, at least 3 or 4 probably over the last few weeks here. Yeah. Pop-up episodes. We're giving away a lot of great books, some audio books. Man, people got to follow.
That's absolutely true. Oh yeah, so we are back. This is part 2, a continuation from our last show on Wednesday. So if you're listening to this on Sunday, or if you're live, this is probably really screwing with your head. Our guest, unfortunately, there was a bit of a miscommunication, so we just decided to go ahead and fill the airtime and talk a little bit about some of our projects, some of our previous guests, and I think it's just appropriate that we continue on. Kevin, I got to show our audience here on YouTube, and sadly, people on podcasts, unless you actually tune into our YouTube channel, you won't be able to see the picture of the Easter coloring books.
Oh, you got it up.
It's the deluxe coloring book kit, Easter and Egg. So let me just go into a screen share. I'm gonna hit that screen share. Let's see here, entire screen. All right, let's see here. So we're gonna go ahead and share this. All right, beautiful. So there it is, Easter coloring book fun. Woo! Yeah. Now,
Easter.
Now, okay. This much I'm gonna give you, dude, is the Easter bunny is kind of cute, dude. It is a cute picture, So it actually kind of, the eyes literally almost look like my cat's eyes. Izzy has like these big puppy dog eyes.
Dude, that thing. It was a deposit photo, so.
Yes. We have the rights to the actual photo itself, so we're able to distribute it that. But you did a pretty good book description here, and at a $5.38 price point, I think what we profit, like, what, about $1?
$1 and a penny, I think, but
yeah. So it's not too bad. So it's not the greatest rank now, so it's at 3 million. But bear in mind that
it's not Easter,
right? It was sold before Easter. So if you're a self-publishing snob and you're going, oh well, look at that, they don't have anything to brag about. Yeah, it's not Easter, clown. So if anything, you should have probably put out a Mother's Day coloring book. That probably would have been perfect.
I thought about it. I just honestly, I'm not making an excuse. We had 2 books, you know what I mean? So working on that. Hey, while you were doing your screen share, why don't you pull up the shirts? Speaking of Mother's Day, the mother-daughter best friend shirts.
Oh yeah, certainly. So share just a little bit about what it is that it is, and I will search it up because we're not on screen share anymore. We're showing our ugly mugs again.
Okay.
So as I'm looking this up, talk a little bit about the process of what we did, where we put it at, and of course, I can express what the profit level is on that if you can't remember.
Okay. Basically, I mean, we've got quite a few different T-shirt designs. Some that are our brand, the Bootstrap Businessmen. I think Wildcat Fitness in there.
Wildcat Fitness is on there. Actually, I'm looking at it right at this moment.
Okay, Wildcat Fitness is in there. Hashtag adulting is in there. And then if you've ever seen those little best friend necklaces, the half a heart, one says like bah, and the other one says st, so when you put them together, they say best friends. Well, what we did, Dale actually put it together and stuff on a T-shirt. So you can actually buy those T-shirts and, like, say, a mother and daughter. I mean, I don't know if I would do it. Me and my mom aren't best friends, but like my wife and my daughter, dude, they're two peas in a pod, and they love it. Because then that just kind of like a little symbol, of like the mother-daughter bond, but it says best friends. So, anyway, they're available in a wide array of colors, children's sizes, adult sizes, male, female, whatever. Are they $19.99, Dale?
I believe that seems about right. I'm trying to get into the actual website. It's called merch.amazon.com. You can actually apply for an account. I would recommend if you're interested in actually doing your own shirts, you apply now because it's a long wait.
Yeah, I still haven't heard back from mine, and that was in February. So, but yeah, anyway, so we've got these shirts on there, and a nice part about it, guys. Well, we're trying to obviously put our brand out, but we're also trying to show you, you can create whatever it is in your mind. If it's a T-shirt logo or something, you can create that and have a place to distribute it and actually make a little bit of money from it. I think what is our profit margin on those? A couple bucks?
Yeah, $19.99. I think it actually is closer to like $5 or $6.
Yeah.
That seems about right, since it's a very basic print. So let me go ahead. I'll go into a screen share because I found it actually. So
Okay.
those of you are going to have to use your imagination. But essentially, here is the Best Friends shirt number one half the Best Friends shirt. Here's the thing: is actually not underneath Bootstrap Businessmen. It's actually BFF Best Friends Wherever Wear. And yeah, so I ended up kind of putting it underneath there. We put it in 3 different colors. I guess that I'm just trying to learn some of the shirt business and some of the people that have been successful. And I guess that if you offer a bunch of like the colors, it's great. But when you just kind of put like a little bit of an exclusivity, so you can see that one half here is STEND and the other one is BEFRI. So it shows like the heart ripped in half. This literally took me 10 minutes altogether to put everything up on here and working. Now, the other thing is the journals. So you took the same design and you actually put them onto a journal cover. So then someone can actually gift that. Now, am I shamelessly self-promoting? Not necessarily. We just want to share an example of what you can do, what the possibilities are. Is this the best thing out there? No. Is it selling millions of dollars? Not by any stretch. But there are some people that have done even more basic designs and have been super successful. So I'm going to take it off screen share now. We're back to our ugly mugs.
The color differences on the covers were purposeful, because not everybody likes the same color, you know what I mean? So I just figured it'd be a little different. So
it differentiated. So that way you knew what you were getting. I totally understand and agree with what you were doing.
Yeah. So, I mean, just going back to that, I mean, these are some of the projects, guys, that we've got. It's been only 90 days, right? And there's T-shirts, there's a mug, I believe. There's actually there's actually an iPhone case that's branded with Bootstrap Businessmen on Zazzle. We've got journals. We've got two real publications, and then a third one that's on its way. So
three technically, because you put out Soul Food as well. The quotations.
Okay. Yeah.
So Soul Food. So if you're into quotations books, I really highly recommend you go ahead and check that out. Speaking of, we should definitely look into putting it onto ACX. So
it's loaded into ACX, ready for an audition.
Oh, wonderful! Actually, I'll give you. I'll refer somebody to you. So off the show, I'll send you to somebody for that narrator. But when it comes to ACX, so if you're in self-publishing and you've produced a book, here's the really nice thing: you own the rights to it. Go over to ACX, have somebody produce the narration, and actually put it up on audiobook. There's been some people that have had kind of knee-jerk reaction of, "Oh my gosh, I don't want somebody else to read my book." Okay. This is something that was shared with me through Jason Brock, my mentor. Now, Jason has been super successful in everything he's done. So I, generally speaking, 99% of the time, I will take his advice. Now, the other times, the 1% that I don't take his advice is because usually he's jacking with me. He's that kind of a friend. He's kind of like you, where he'll mess with me sometimes. But at any rate, though, if you don't have the skill set, but you do have another skill set, focus on what you are strong at doing. Wherever you're weak at, hire out. Get somebody else to do it for you. Now, here's the beauty of ACX. ACX is a audiobook format, and they actually distribute your book through Audible, through Amazon, and through iTunes. So those three different formats, which is, three of the largest players in the audiobook business. So if you are looking to make a little extra scratch, a little bit extra cash, and you don't have the skill set to do audiobooks, then you can hire out. Now, here's the beauty. Let's say you can't afford to pay a person. Okay. Narrators, good narrators will run anywhere from $300 to $1,000 per finished hour, not per hour, per finished hour. So in other words, a audiobook might be an hour long, but it could have probably taken them, which I understand this is an industry average, is 6 hours of production in order to do 1 hour of content. So anytime you listen to an audiobook, understand that someone's not just sitting in a microphone and they're reading the book. You can be an excellent reader, but here's the bottom line is reading is merely just part of the process. It's much like writing. When you're writing a book, sure, you can write it, but then you've got to edit some more, format, proofread, and then release. And, so writing is a small portion. So same thing goes for narrating when you're putting out an audiobook. So you can pay for the finished price per hour and you keep 100% of your rights on audiobook. Not to be confused with your rights of your complete, publication. So when you go into an agreement of what's called a 50-50 split, essentially what ends up happening is you agree to split 50% of the copyright on audiobook. So let's say, Kevin, you're a narrator, and I go into an agreement with you. I want you to read Soul Food. Okay. On the dotted line, and you sign on the dotted line, which is like a virtual thing. Essentially, I split the rights with you forever, unless we find something that actually an agreement and we come to and we contact ACX. I've never had to do that before, and I don't imagine I'll do it anytime soon. But essentially, as soon as that narrator, you agree with that person, they own 50% of the rights on your audiobook, not the rights on your Kindle, not the rights on your paperback. But you don't have to worry about producing it. You don't have to worry about it. So here's the nice thing is you're building a business without having to invest any capital.
Right.
Okay. You've already made the book, so you might as well put it up on audiobook. So there are some people out there probably going, well, what if I don't have a book written? Well, there are ways that you can purchase books and purchase books rights, but that's another episode for another day. But ACX is essentially what we're doing. So Soul Food, it's up there. We're going to be able to put it on there. And is it my understanding is Fail to Succeed officially an audiobook?
It is right now. It's just going through the review process for Audible, just to make sure the sound quality is correct. But other than that, man, it's produced and ready to go.
Yeah, essentially what ACX does is they do kind of a quality control. And I actually had watched quite a few interviews and some educational type things from ACX. And what they do is they put your content through kind of like a computer program, and they have like some like auto vetters, some detectors to look for specific frequencies that are off or anything that just isn't quite according to their standard. Now, I don't know.
Sounds in the background,
exactly.
Know what I mean?
And what it'll trip certain like things. And then what ends up happening is ACX quality control, actual person comes in, they step in and they check those specific issues, and they'll listen in and they'll make sure it's like, okay, is this okay? So if there's like a dog barking in the background and it's not part of the audiobook, then they'll probably flag it and they'll send it back to the narrator and say, fix it. Now, I've only ever once had a book, and I've had, let's see, I think I've already have a dozen books up on ACX right now. I only once ever had it, and that was actually for my book for Dorothy Biggins, Did You Shit Yourself? Yes, the book's called Did You Shit Yourself? And some people are probably wondering, what's that book about? Well, look it up. You can go inside our show description and click on our Amazon link. Look at Did You Shit Yourself?
It's worth the read. It is worth the read.
Dorothy has a sick, twisted sense of humor. We'll just put it that way. So
good stuff.
Underneath the One Jack Monkey umbrella, I've hired a number of freelancers. I don't do it anymore. I just focus strictly on the workout plan branding. But when I had done Did You Shit Yourself, I actually came into an agreement with a great audiobook narrator. His name is Enon Shintu. I shit you not. All right. He's one in away from being Shitu. What I'm sorry, Enon. It's not a knock on you. He is a magnificent narrator.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing about Enon. I had a couple of people apply, and oh gosh, you'll get some people apply. I don't know what it was for you, Kevin. I know you showed me somebody, and they sounded completely stilted. It was just awkward, and but you'll get some people. Like there was one guy that applied for it, and I swear to you, it sounded like he recorded it on his phone.
Nice
phone, and I was like, reject. You can like or dislike your auditions for it, and I disliked that one clearly. And then every now and then you'll just hear a voice. They sound great, but it just doesn't sound like a good fit for your particular product. You know, like yours, correct?
Right. So, the second guy, oh man, he's good.
Yeah. You showed me him. I really enjoyed him, and I've actually since I've put up about, I think 24 books over the last 3 or 4 days. So today's Wednesday. So yeah, actually since about Friday. So it was Friday I started just loading it up because, you know, Jason and I had a conversation. I told him I was holding off on putting up audiobooks because I was going to learn how to do it. And of course, Jason, I always love it. He always just like, man, don't be fucking around with that kind of stuff, man. He's like, you need to be doing the next workout plan. I was just like, well, yeah. He's like, yeah, I know. You need to do the next workout plan. Hire somebody else to do it for you. Because, you know, he pretty much, and get out the Jason voice for just a second, he just essentially said it's going to waste your time having to build and learn a new skill set, whereas you could be scaling your business on one end while that specific portion of the business that you're weak at can be built up. And that's going to apply in self-publishing as it does in any business. I mean, I'm sure that you probably aren't 100% strong in all facets of your business. Am I correct?
Oh, no, absolutely not. But I always know there's a place I can go to, right?
Yeah.
That's
sure.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I brought on 5 different partners, because, you know, one, I can't offer it all, but each one offers certain things. You know, they'll do certain extra things for the client or for you. So yeah, absolutely. Just like, you know, ACX with the narrator, that guy's taking care of it. Yeah, he's going to split your royalties with you, but so what? You can produce 6 more workout plan books, you know what I mean, and your brand versus, you know, worried about this. So yeah, it makes sense. It's a good.
Exactly. Like for instance, even though I'm pulling it off the market here pretty soon, my first book, The 3 Keys to Greater Health and Happiness, I'm still going to produce it as an audiobook.
Great book.
I still think it's a fantastic book. I'm just going to end up repurposing quite a bit of the content, which I actually have already done that. But that right there, I think total hours is going to be 4.5 hours long because it's nearly a 40,000 word book. I know, I'm blown away. It's my longest book I'd ever written, and I'm very long-winded in that one. It does have great content. Don't get me wrong, but I feel that the direction I'm going now as an author and as a self-publisher is more in tune with the audience I'm speaking to. You know, I don't need to be, you know, so long-winded. Sound bites are important. You know, you don't need to be sitting here talking about a push-up and talking about 50,000 different cues because people are going to throw in the towel before they even start. They go, oh my God, why'd you do 5 pages to describe a push-up? I'm legit telling you, I described how to do walking lunges. I think it's 2 pages full on 8.5 by 11. That's far too much, you know, for talking about a walking lunge. But, you know, I digress, which, you know, it's so funny, you know, we're always talking about different avenues that people to kind of pour into. So let's say, for instance, you know, if you've got a great skill set, if you have an ability to use sound equipment, or if you're wanting to learn how to read books and do books on tape or audiobooks, I highly recommend it. ACX makes it a very simple process to be a freelance narrator. And I've actually had quite a few people lately. For instance, someone who's actually doing my quotations books. I can't wait to show this one to you, Kevin. You enjoyed my quotes books. I know that. You've probably been one of my #1 fans for that. His name's Maurice. Unfortunately, his last name slips my mind. I know he's the second version. So he's Maurice something the second. And Maurice is, oh my gosh, he has a rich voice. Like we're talking like Morgan Freeman-esque.
Ooh.
You know? Yeah, it's beautiful. I told him he literally has produced. He's finishing up today, and I'm sure probably right at this moment, he's already done all 4 of the books, and now he's taking all 4 of the books and putting into the full compilation. So that way, I've got 5 audiobooks available, so people can get the compilation of all 4, or they can get the 4 individually.
Nice.
So he did it. He started on Friday, dude, and he's literally finishing today. And that's less than a week. He's produced this stuff. Now, here's the nice thing is he's developed a passive income for the rest of his life. Yeah. Unless for some reason I decide I'm going to buy his rights out, which I don't think so at this point. I think he does such great stuff. I'd feel like I would be doing a great disservice to how awesome this book is. I might have wrote it, but him reading it, it brought an emotion that I never thought could be brought to it, which, by the way, I was completely against doing quotes book until I found out that there are people who like quotes books on audiobook. Do you know that?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Actually, yes, I do.
that is so crazy. Yeah. And the funny thing is that as I've listened to it, like this morning when I was editing your book, The 10 Guiding Principles, as I was working through it, I had it running in the background, and I'm like, it was so incredibly calming. Yeah. Because sometimes I would tune it out, but every now and then I tune in and I hear him say like a quote, and it was just so cool. Like, there's no music. I've heard some quotes books that actually were done with music, but for some reason I think it was too jarring. It wasn't ambient enough for me. Whereas this right here, the way he was doing it was very ambient. It blended into the background, and sure. I was able to kind of call it to the forefront every now and then and go, huh. And even though I put these quotes books together, I'll tell you, it's nearly 646 quotes altogether in all 4 books. I don't remember them all. I literally, when I compiled the book, I did it last year, and I literally, this is another one to where I had quite a few quotes that I had on hand, but the other ones, actually, I ended up purchasing a service through Fiverr to where they actually compiled thousands upon thousands of quotes for me. And all I did was just hand pick them, based on the theme of the book. And I think each one of the books probably took me, if I were to guess, about 5 or 6 hours to put together. And each one of them, probably in their first like 90 days, they probably paid me about, I'd say $50 a piece. So you're looking about like, it was an extra $200 over the course of, 90 days. So, was it big money? No. Is it going to make me rich? No. But the nice thing is the investment that I made in Fiverr for the covers, as well as the quotes, they probably came all together to be about 5, 10, 15. Kelly did the compilation cover. So it was $25 for me to put it all, and I already made my investment back. And the nice thing is now it's coming out on audiobook. And
I was going to say, made the investment back, plus now it's in another avenue. So yeah,
and it's set up for residual passive income. Essentially, a lot of people always kind of wonder, is putting quotes book out okay? The main thing is making sure that you give the rights to the respective owners, give credit to them, and also making sure that, first of all, did they say it? That's the number one. So I spent time researching who they were and what they were known for. Even though everybody knows who Oprah Winfrey is in the United States, doesn't necessarily mean everybody in Oprah Winfrey knows, who Oprah Winfrey is down in Brazil. They may have never even heard of her. Or over in, Newfoundland, they may have never even heard of Oprah Winfrey. So that's why I took a little bit extra time to actually put, what they were, why they're significant about what they're sharing in their quotes. But yeah, a lot of people, it's kind of like one of those gray areas. They're kind of really worried. And the main thing is make sure that you're giving credit to where credit's due. So that's where I did a lot with my references and resources in the backs of the book. So that way I was keeping it 100% legit. Now, if for some reason, someone gets a hold of me, say, for instance, I'd say one of the quotes I have in the book is by Les Brown. Les Brown got a hold of me and said, hey, dude, you got to cease and desist. Dude, first of all, I would probably like trickle in my pants a little bit from being so excited that Les Brown would even get a hold of me. And the next thing is I'd be like, done, off.
Done.
Off. And what are you doing, buddy? You want to show up? You want to come to my favorite show? It's called Bootstrap Businessmen.
Yes. Dude, no, I mean, I tell you what, man, this whole process from book to audiobook to reviews, we got to talk about that.
Yes, please. Take me through a little bit of the process. Obviously, I want you to kind of run free because this will give me a second to actually shut my mouth up and actually recover.
Should I talk about K-Book or
run with it?
Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, you could talk about K-Book. Actually, the funny thing is I got an affiliate, so I can always put the affiliate down in that.
Okay. So basically when you're my recommendation from what I've learned already is that you start this process before your book is released.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I've learned because it's going to put you about 10 steps ahead. So there's a thing that's called reviews. Everybody knows what a review is, right? Somebody reads your book, you buy a product, they review it, they either hate it or they love it or somewhere in between, right?
Mm-hmm. Social proof.
Social proof. Yep. So anyway, when you're doing this, say you're writing a book on needlepoint, right?
Favorite.
Yes, absolutely, man. I mean, I do it all the time. Knit my own sweaters. There's a program. It's called K-Book Promotions, and the link will be provided in the show notes, so you can go check it out. It's called K-Book Promotions. Anyway, you go in there. They have anything you think of, basically your niche picker, keyword searches, marketing suite, and under the marketing suite, there's a thing in there called Find Reviewers. Mm-hmm. So basically, then that opens up, and it gives you a box to type in, say, a keyword from your category. Okay, your category is needlepoint. Type in fucking needlepoint. You know what I mean? And it's gonna pull up. Actually, gives you a little drop down. So if you want to do 16, 8, 22, 32, 48, 116 books that it'll pull from Amazon. Okay, so my recommendation, unless you've got a few hours to spend, is go with 16. Somebody,
that was hard.
Yes, somebody plugged in 112 and it never stopped.
Big shout out to Sinead, who actually he's the one who created the program, and Diwan is, I think, 50-50 partner with Sinead. And Sinead's awesome at what he does, and I was just like, bro, what the hell? This takes forever. He's like, oh, you shouldn't put that many inside there. I don't know what his accent sounds like, but Sinead is just a tremendous guy, a brilliant programmer. He's the one who created K-Book Promotions. And you try to keep it down to about 16 is probably about perfect.
Yeah, 16 is more than enough.
It'll pull up the 16 top searches within a particular. So, for instance, you go on to Amazon. If you type in needlepoint, it'll give you numerous suggestions and have like an autofill of what's commonly searched for on Amazon. So it doesn't necessarily mean that those books are the top of their category. Now, if you type in workout plan, obviously you're going to see me come up and you're going to see numerous bestsellers. I'm sorry, that's just what I do. You said I was humble and modest. Gotcha. But in any event,
shameless.
So needlepoint, you might pull it up and might say needlepoint for seniors, needlepoint for children, needlepoint and cross stitch, so it might have numerous things. So you can choose those within that K-Book Promotions thing. That's pretty much what you're sharing is it'll show those things in the drop down on the actual site that you're using this app on, and it'll do that autofill, and you can choose that, and then you can do the number of books that you see within that search. So it's almost like you would do on Amazon if you were looking for the top 112 books, which totally do not advise. 16, possibly 32. Don't exceed that. You're just kidding. Yeah, it'll eat up too much time.
Yeah. So then what it does is it starts populating a list of all the books right in your niche. So then you can look. And you can see, okay, this book, sold 1,000 copies. It's got 500 reviews. Select, and what that does is it adds it to a queue. Okay, so you go through and you look. You don't want to get a book that has 0 reviews because what's the point? You're wasting queue space at that point. Yeah. So just keep look at the books. How many reviews? It's even going to give you the estimated amount of sales that this book has produced. The more sales, obviously, the better. Mm-hmm. So you want to grab that, you just hit select, and then you go up, and it'll tell you how many books, say out of those 16, say you added 5. It'll tell you have 5 out of 16 in your queue. There's a little tab, you hit find reviewers. What it does is it'll go through and out of those 16 books, depending on your niche, last night I had 2,284 reviewer names come up, and basically what that is, they're if you review something purchase it and review it on Amazon, you can either create a reviewer link, keep your email hidden, whatever, blah blah blah. Anyway, there are people that actually review stuff. I mean, this is what they do, right?
Yeah.
They They love to review
Yeah, there
products.
actually is like a hierarchy of reviewers based on what people think is good. So, for instance, this isn't just books; it's anything on Amazon. You
Anything.
provide a review, and people find that review helpful because it usually says at the very bottom of a review, regardless of books or software or clothes. And the review, if you go on that specific product, it says, "Did you find this review helpful? Yes or no?" And this says report abuse. Don't touch that report abuse unless somebody's actually abusing. You can say yes or no. No. So if somebody gets tons of yeses on their reviews, it pushes them up in a ranking of reviewers.
Mm-hmm. And then what happens at that point? I mean, it's kind of a cool situation. So you have a new product coming out, and you'd like to get it reviewed. Guess what? You're going to reach out to this person, have them review it for you, and basically probably send them your product. So very similar, right? Then you click, it filters out all of the reviews. Basically, you copy and paste some emails, and you just send out saying, "Hey, I got a new book." This is, from the email that you sent, Dale. I shamelessly copied and pasted your content. I have a new book coming out. A little bit about it, a little bit about yourself. Just letting you know. I noticed that you reviewed a similar product in this niche, needlepoint, right?
Yeah.
And just ask them, "Hey, I would like a fair, honest review of my product." I can send you a copy of it so you can review it for me, and send out the email. And what they'll do is they'll respond yay or nay, or basically won't hear from them at all if they don't want to do it. But honestly, we've had couple interesting people. I actually ended up purchasing a couple books today from just a gentleman conversation and email we had. Just liked what he was saying to me, and I found his name on Amazon and actually ended up buying a couple books that he produced. So,
nice.
Yeah.
You mind dropping a name, or do you remember his name?
Yeah, it's, hold on a second, I'll find it. It's Douglas.
I'm going down into the reviews. My gosh, yeah, you got a top 100 reviewer in here, Grady Harp. I've seen his name quite a few times.
Yeah. Douglas Winslow Cooper, PhD. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, just a really nice gentleman. He's actually got a memoir book out that he wrote about him and his wife. Beautiful story, what I've seen so far. But anyway, so I don't want to rabbit trail too far, but this guy is just a beautiful person. And, the reviewers will contact you and say, yeah, go ahead, send your book over. I'll take a look at it. They'll go through and very strictly in the email says, I want an honest review of this. So if it sucks, it sucks. If it's great,
you have to be straightforward according to Amazon policy. And see, now this is hopefully if anybody is listening to this, you can think of it from both directions. So think of it in this way, that if you've got a product of, like a book or a blanket or whatever you're doing, you're selling on Amazon, you can use this process. So for instance, if you're selling blankets, you can contact some of these people, like say, for instance, these top reviewers. You look in there, a person says, I like blankets. You want to contact that reviewer and say, hey, I saw you like blankets. You gave a great review of this. I think that you would like my blanket too. However, if I provide this to you, a complimentary blanket, could you provide an honest review? You can't go on and coach anybody or tell them, I'll pay you. Because if you pay, if it's found out a reviewer's paid at all or compensated at all for providing a review, they actually will lose their status as that. In fact, actually, Amazon went through a very big lawsuit with Fiverr for people putting on fake reviews. People were posting on reviews through our favorite site, Fiverr. They were providing reviews. So, for instance, I'd go on, and not me, I'm saying not me in general, a person would go on and they would ask for, hey, I need you to provide me a book review over here. And let's say they were like, hey, I'll give you $5 review for your good book. I have no idea what the accent was. It was like a mixture of Russian and Indian.
I don't know what was happening there.
Yeah. So in any event, though, there was a big lawsuit, and like dozens, if not hundreds, of people were involved in this lawsuit and lost out big. So yeah, if you plan on doing reviews, yes, you can get free products, but you cannot be compensated. So if you get on there and you said, that's the other end of the spectrum. So you might be the person providing the product, but if you're also a reviewer and you start to get ranked up, it's a nice thing. You can get some free books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you might get like free, you know, clothes. Some people get free food, free software, things like that. You know, these top 100 reviewers have a ton of stuff. So that's kind of a nice little thing that you can turn a hobby, not necessarily into a business per se, since you're not compensated, and it's not like you could be able to claim it on your taxes, but you can really make, you know, quite a bit out of something that's just basically a hobby. So yeah, it's being a reviewer is one end of the spectrum. So if anybody's ever considering not necessarily a business per se, but some like a part-time hobby that could, you know, pay you back, not necessarily monetarily, being an Amazon reviewer is definitely an avenue. So it's going to be hard though, because you're going to have to get a lot of upvotes. So you might have to have quality reviews. If you go on there being a troll and be like, you know, fail to succeed, well, this is better than an abortion, I guess. You know, you're gonna probably get downvoted. You know, especially if you said that. That's kind of dickish. I kind of feel bad for saying that.
That's really dickish.
But wait a second. La-di-da.
La-di-da, fucker. The cool part about it, man, is honestly the reviews that we've got from Fail to Succeed, they're all very honest. But the one guy in particular you're talking about, Grady Harp, dude, if you go look at his reviewer profile, the guy has got stuff like every hour. It seems like there's something that he's reviewed.
He's a machine. Yeah, he's a machine. And his reviews are impeccable. Impeccable. If you get a 1-star from him, you should probably be honored, because he probably like will tear you in two. He'll tell you why and tell you how you can fix your problem. Because, you know, he gave us a 4-star, which, you know, there are some authors out there that like literally like, I got a 4-star. Hey, listen, I like a 4-star, and I think 4 stars is reasonable. And in fact, actually, some people think that I would be like pissed if I got a 4-star. Actually, I think 4 stars are great, because I am no Stephen King. Okay, I am
it gives you room for improvement, you know, and we've all got that.
Exactly. So. You know, I've got, you know, one of my books, Stretch Workout Plan, I've got probably 14 reviews on it. 13 of them are 5-star reviews, and one of them is a 4-star review. And someone actually comments to me like, I was kind of disappointed when I saw that 4-star. I was like, no, it makes no sense. I like the Stretch Workout Plan. Please don't get me wrong. But if I were to actually be the person, you know, being the consumer, I think it's a 4-star book. I think it's solid. It's got some great information. But do I feel like it's a 5-star? Is it something that I would say I'm going to take with me to a deserted island? Not by any stretch. You know, it's not a book that I would consider a 5-star. And so the same thing would go Fail to Succeed. It's a wonderful book. And I think that when Grady kind of put it down, you know, he talked about, no, he didn't put it down, but when he put a review down for that, it made sense. He put a little logic in why it was a 4-star. He highlighted some of the great attributes, but he also said, you know, this is where I kind of disagree with the guys. And I was like, damn, I'm like, he's right. I was like, I didn't think about that end of things, you know. And if anybody wants to take a look at that, you know, you can always look at Grady Harp's review on Fail to Succeed. You simply just go to fail.bootstrapbusinessmen.com, and it actually will go right directly to our book on Amazon. And you can actually take a look and see the review, and it's just stellar. It's 3 paragraphs long, and it's beautiful. There's a good reason why that guy's a top 100 reviewer, no doubt. And any kind of, you know, things that he gets as, you know, a byproduct of his reviews, guy deserves it. The guy deserves it, and he's not compensated whatsoever. We did not pay him jack shit.
Nope.
So.
He just actually, you know, the funny part about it is he just asked for the PDF. He didn't ask. Yeah, he didn't ask
out of pocket. So that was a nice thing. So if you're a self-publisher and you're really strapped for cash and you can't afford to send a paperback copy, or your business can't afford the expenses, you know, PDF copies work really well. In fact, you can actually even format it to .mobi or .epub. So people are able to read it on their Kindle device or on their iBooks device. You know, whatever, you know. The format,
whatever you have.
It's super simple. You can be able to format those type of things. But yeah, you don't have to go broke getting reviews. And on top of that, you should never, ever, 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 ever pay to get a review. No. I'm going to say this right now, is don't pay for reviews. Because if you're caught, Amazon will stick a big old broomstick up your butthole, and you are screwed as a self-publisher.
Well, let's take a step back and now look at it from that's great. But let's look at it not from Amazon's standpoint. Let's look at it from your uh, characteristic of yourself, the integrity. Why would you pay for a false review? You know what I mean? Wouldn't you want the honesty so you can become better? Right? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
It's
that
something I think I don't know if it was on our blog yet, but it's going to be coming out. If it's not out yet, it's going to be out soon, and it's talking about sometimes negative criticism. And when I was going through your book and editing, oddly enough, negative criticism in general. I didn't give you anything negative on your book, but the
I
10
never
guiding
take it that way.
Yeah, the 10 guiding principles. You talk about feedback and getting it from your customers and your clientele, and that was one of the things I kind of highlighted. Is these reviews are great feedback.
Hmm.
I don't like getting a 2-star review. I got one on the 90-day home workout plan, and I must admit, it's a knee-jerk reaction. When somebody tells you that your shit stinks, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, well, your face is ugly. You kind of it's automatic. We're
Right.
in tune that way. There's going to be the rare few people that can actually just let that stuff roll off. It automatically, for me though, when I saw that 2-star, it literally, like, blood rushes out of my face. My stomach sinks down, and the very first thing I think is does this person have an agenda? What do they have out for me? But then when I can just compose myself, I look at it and I go, okay, there is merit to this. There's a good reason. Yes, there are trolls out there. We all agree this. I mean, there are trolls,
Sure.
right, Kevin?
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
no way to get around it. Yeah, there are trolls. But guess what? There's more good people than there are trolls out there. And you can try to disagree with me till the cows come home on this, but I really have faith and believe that this world has quality, wonderful people out there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, man. The reason why I think that you're saying that is because there's such a clouded view of people, right? And I hate to say this, we really don't take the time to talk to anybody anymore.
Yeah,
To engage them, it's either a text message or, on Facebook or something. There's no emotion involved in that. But when you talk to somebody face to face, shake their hands or give them a hug, that changes the whole perspective, man. You start to feel an energy at that point. You can't feel energy through social media, but you can feel that energy when you're face to face with somebody. So there are a tremendous, tremendous amount of great people out there. Um,
absolutely. And just,
it's
sometimes it seems that, something happens, I think, chemically speaking, not only when you're physically with a person, it really changes, and a person actually conducts themselves in a different way because of this energy exchange. Now, we can talk about the science behind it, but, the bottom line is this is, for some reason, I think there is an opposite end of the spectrum. When somebody gets behind a keyboard and they're not physically interacting with the person, I swear to you, chemically speaking, it shifts. They get bravery behind the keyboard. It's almost like they're kind of like,
I got you now, sucker.
and I'm going to fry to my cup first. All right. La-di-da. Now it's time for me to tell this person 2-star review.
Yeah.
So, doubling back around to the whole talk about 2-star review and how I handled it. And it's something I talk about in the video on YouTube. It's going to release pretty soon, and also on the blog, if it hasn't already done so, at bootstrapbusinessmen.com, our blog, or even on YouTube, if you guys are watching it already here. But anyway, how I handled the 2-star review was this. I was able to step away from it, and I didn't react. I didn't upvote it. I didn't downvote it. I was just like, I looked at it. I was getting ready to hit that report abuse. I'll admit it. I'm human. It's the very first thing. I'm like, why are you attacking me? But I'm like, hang on a second. This person paid for a copy, and they clearly probably spent a little bit of time looking at it because their review was very brief. There's poor punctuation and poor grammar and poor syntax, whatever. I can sit there and tear it apart. But bottom line was this. The person expressed that it was a poorly organized book. And when I was able to remove myself from the situation, make myself a third party to my book and just say, okay, if this isn't my book, it's really tough to do. Because when you
Sure.
spend so many hours and so much time promoting these things, you become attached to it. So when a 2-star review comes in, it hurts. It really does hurt. But then I was able to step away from it, and I was able to look at the book. And here's the greatest thing is this person provided me feedback that actually worked. He said poorly organized. So I had to actually pay attention. I'm like, okay, how is it poorly organized? And unfortunately, I don't have the person's phone number. You can't get that on a review. And this person didn't have necessarily an email that I could have reached out to them, much less if they would have even answered me.
Right.
So what I was able to do was just sit down and say, okay, how could I better organize this? How could I, stop these 2-star reviews coming in based on poor organization. Because sure, someone else is going to probably come along at some point or another and give a 2-star review or a 1-star review. I'll just address that problem as it comes along. But it's my mistake if I don't at least address that problem that the person came out with. Sure. Whether I agree with it or not, that's the person who paid their hard-earned money. The worst part is, sure, that person gave me a 2-star review, but how many people are not giving that review because they don't want to seem like a troll, or they don't want to seem like a bad person? You know, right. They probably might give a 2-star. Let's say, for instance, you know, if my mom didn't, you know, review it, which she didn't. Mom.
Come on, Mom.
Yeah. It's so funny because my mom actually rarely knows when I'm releasing a book until I'll say it. She go, "Oh, sweetheart, I didn't know you put out a book." I'm like, oh, Mom, I do one like every month. I'm sorry. But, you know, in any event, you know, it could be someone like, you know, my mother, or, you know, or somebody that, you know, is very kind-hearted, and they can't bring themselves to putting a 2-star review. It's kind of like that person who gets poor service from the angry waiter. They're going to tip them regardless, even though they feel they don't deserve the tip, because they're good-hearted. Right. They don't necessarily want to cause trouble. They don't want to call the manager over and go, "That guy was an asshole. He started texting on his phone right in the middle of an order." Like, you know, sometimes people just are that way. And those are the people that I'm so scared of going away. So that 2-star review, kudos to you. Thank you. You provided me with a great lesson in which actually I was able to take my book and refine it. And the funny thing is, reviews started going up. I started seeing more 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and it started coming up. And just because I changed it, I was able to change that format and I made it better. And then I was able to repurpose the content into a compilation that became my first #1 bestseller on Amazon. And that part right there was beautiful. And if it weren't for that 2-star review, I'll tell you, quite a bit of my success wouldn't have happened. Not as soon as it has.
Well, you know, that's a very valid point, man, is that you at least took the time and you looked at something. A lot of people will look at that and say, "I suck. I failed." You know what I mean? And they'll walk away from it. But you took that failure, or whatever, if you want to call it that, you know what I mean, and turned it into.
It's an adversity. It's a setback. It's a failure.
Sure. And, you know, an obstacle, whatever, right? So you took time, you let all your emotions go through. You're angry, you're like, "Fuck you," you know, this, that. But then you sat down after you calmed down and you looked at it, fixed it. Now look, you know what I mean? So you didn't let it stop you. Which is a valid point, man, because honestly, it only takes sometimes, and I want people at home that are thinking about starting a hobby or turning a hobby into a business or doing something, you know what? You're going to have to toughen your skin up a little bit, but that's okay. That's a good thing because it's protection, right? You're gonna face obstacles. I think we face obstacles every day in our life, to be honest with you, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And sometimes
traffic, whatever, you know,
it becomes secondary for certain people. Then how you're able to address those issues, and the more times that you're faced with a specific adversity, you actually build a conditioning to it. So it's becoming easier and easier, because I mean, it's been since I think September of last year that I received that 2-star review, and I've received quite a few other bad reviews, and each one of them, you know, pretty valid in my opinion. There was one where it was like, I found out that this reviewer was going along and trolling every single type of book that was mine, and pretty much saying that we were plagiarizing from online. I was just like, okay, I reported abuse on that one. I was like, okay, this is fishy here. But, you know, that's a story for another day, you know. But I know that this right now, that there's been times where I've received a 1, 2-star, 3-star, and I've had like these. There was even one time I got a 2-star. This person raved about my book.
He gave you the 2-star.
Yes, it's on my Green Smoothies book. They were like, "This is a fantastic book. I can't wait to try out some of these recipes." 2 stars. I was like, I actually even commented to this person. I was like, "I am so confused." I was like, "You just gave a raving review, but you gave it 2 stars." I was like, why the 2 stars? You know, at least, you know, some people will go, you know, great recipes, awesome. I just don't like bald-headed people. 2 stars, you know.
Right.
I would have been okay with that, but like, it confused me. It was almost like a yes. No.
This is the best book ever. No.
Yeah, they're like shaking their head up and down and saying no. You're kind of like, do you know what you're doing?
Yeah, and you know, I mean, people are gonna, no matter what you do or how good it is, somebody, and this is unfortunate, somebody will find and pick at it, right? There's a couple reasons for that. We can get into the whole psychology of it, but to me, the main reason is jealousy.
Yeah. The people that are out and out, just like we've used before, we've said trolling. Some people just
Yeah.
it's their life mission to make somebody miserable. And here we can go into kind of a topic and hopefully shift into that and wrap up in the next. Oh gosh, we got 15 minutes yet. Here's something that just kills me. And I had a conversation with my mom last night. We were talking about a gentleman. We brought this gentleman's name up before. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to point to any one particular person, but I've learned something from my mom, and my mom always she's just a beautiful woman. She's just wonderful. She's got such a positive spirit, but every now and then I got to kind of throw some of her lessons back in her face. And she started talking about this gentleman, and I said, wasted energy, Mom. I was like, let's shift on to something else. We've already just wasted too much time to even just mentioning this. And we somehow shifted back over to this gentleman. I was like, nope. We were done with that one. And it's so funny because Mom kind of just, she could tell she's just kind of like tell me.
I'm your mom, damn it.
That really is, if you are spending a majority or any portion of your time with hateful thoughts, you're doing something wrong, because you've only got one life to live. And hey, if you're of some faith that you believe in reincarnation, then kudos to you. But you need to take advantage of this life that you're currently living. All right. I can really go down a dark path when it comes to religion and spirituality, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say this is, you have this life, make the most of it, and don't waste it. Don't waste your energy on being hateful. I've got a good friend of mine. I love him dearly. I got many friends, obviously, and I love them all dearly. But this person right here, he holds a special place in my heart. And he found a video on YouTube of this gentleman, and he was judging beers. And it was like, this guy's whole channel is just, he tries out beers. And my buddy, makes a comment. And it was just kind of offhanded comment. It was kind of like hey, you should try this. I think it's far better than that one that you rated. And well, the person who hosted the YouTube show fought back. Like, he kind of had like a really snidey, like, he was kind of like well, if you were watching my channel, you would know I had already done it. Well, my buddy got pissed. He fought back, which he should have just unsubscribed, move on. He started like a whole spit competition. So here's the thing. Anytime that you get into an argument with a person, okay, the best idea is to go, you're right, and move on. Because guess what? In an argument, regardless, okay, of who is right, who is actually right, okay, you're not going to get a trophy. Nope.
No, nobody wins, man.
Nobody. No. The news team's not going to come like knock on your door and get full coverage, press coverage of your argument. Okay, so today you were arguing about the color of the sky. So how do you feel that debate went today? And well, you know what? There were some points I thought I had lost that argument. But then when I really kind of pointed out the different shades of fuchsia versus pink, I think that my audience was in my favor. No one's going to sit there and say your argument's great. It's called a spit competition. Right. Nobody wins in a spit competition. Because if you spit at each other, you're still going to get covered in spit. And, a good friend of mine one time was like, well, Dale, technically, if you put on a raincoat, you should be good. Fuck that. I don't care if I've got like some degree of separation. Someone spit at me, and I got spit on my person. That's a spit competition. So, if you get into an argument like that, if you've posted something, you've interacted with somebody on a YouTube channel and that person fights back at you, end it. Done. Finish. Right. Move on. Go to a freaking YouTube channel where people care that you've commented and you've become part of a community, and you say, hey, did you check out this beer? I think it's really good. That person should have responded right away, like the host, hey, thanks for commenting. And though I might disagree with you, you should check out this show. That would have been the nice thing to do. But and then my friend was just like, it was almost like, oh, we're going to have a spit fight?
Oh, it's on.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm ready to spit, and I can spit like the best of them, which, by the way, this is the kind of dude you don't get into a spit competition, because he fights dirty. Nice. He fights dirty. He'll put freaking thumbtacks and spit at you. That type of dirty. And Yeah, he went on a whole rant and rave, and after a while, I just stopped paying attention to the YouTube channel. I think like the owner ended up like deleting all his comments and
Nice.
whatever. But that just goes to show you just don't waste your energy on that kind of thing. If you're the type of person who gets your jollies off on that type of thing, and that's something that fulfills you, fuck you. All right, just
move on.
You and all the other trolls of the world can get together. You can have a circle jerk into each other's mouths. That's all I give a shit about. Seriously, I don't understand hateful people and why they just want to spend their time and their energy. And of course, I'm probably wasting energy even expressing this, but I hope that I get somebody who says amen when I say this and I share with amen. So if you're listening to this on a podcast or you're watching it on YouTube, give me an amen.
Amen, brother.
And if you disagree with me, say la-di-da.
No, it's the truth, man. I mean, with my business, man, I deal with this all the time. And actually, I don't deal with it. It pops its head a lot.
Yeah.
People, I will actually get phone calls from, and this is funny. They're like, yeah, I know we're competition. I'm like, actually, I'm not in competition with anybody, buddy, except for myself. I said, I just want to wake up the next day and do better. I said, but if I can help you, I will. And they're like, well, I stopped by a certain place and they said that you could do this for them. I was like, uh-huh. They're like, no, you can't. I was like, I can. I said, but I'm not going to argue with you about it. I said, if you would like to see the services that I offer, I'm actually hiring somebody in your area. So if we can get together, I could bring you on as a team member.
Gotcha.
So, and usually it's just a hang up, you know what I mean? Because here's the because here's the thing, man. I'm not in competition with anybody else but myself. My goal, my whole purpose is to help my clients, right? And our whole purpose is to help that person that's maybe a little gun shy or maybe a little bit of afraid to take that first step, right? Yeah. Just do it. Here's the absolute worst thing is that idea doesn't work. Cool. Move on to the next one. That is literally the worst thing that can happen, man. Yeah. So when people, don't waste your energy, man, because there's books to read, there's people to communicate with, there's lives that need to be changed. There's a lot more valuable areas and stuff you can and put your time into. So I just don't even deal with it. It cracks me up. I'm like, I'm actually hiring if you want. They just kind of click. So they're done.
Oh, Kevin, you're so good. And these are some of life's greatest teachers. A lot of people are kind of confused. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was kind of surprised when I said, "Oh, she was one of my greatest teachers," and he's like, I was referring to this person I had worked with at one point, and she was a gossiping, disingenuous individual. And she was the type of person that would snatch you bald when you had your back turned to her.
Sure.
I won't point to this specific person, but she was one of the catalysts that pushed me in the direction that I'm in. And a lot of people won't be able to find these disingenuous type people or these trolls out there to be a good learning experience. These are the people that actually will point you into the right direction. And I think actually, if you noticed on my timeline more recently on Facebook, I had posted one of the really crappy reviews. Actually, I think it was the one that I told you, it was like the really fishy one. And Jobber actually commented, and he said something along the fact that in video games, you're on the right path when you start to see more of the bad guys. And
that's a valid point.
Yeah, you're going in the right direction if you see more bad guys. That's the direction you want to go. If you want to defeat the game, you need to fight the bad guys. And and I'm not saying you need to go get into a fist fight with a person who's gossiping about you at work. But these are the people that you can learn from. You learn, first of all, patience to tolerate a person like that, or you learn a skill set in which how do you address this issue with that person? Do you ignore it? Or do you just go face to face? Which I'm the type of person, whenever somebody, has some kind of shit talking with me, I found out, I make sure I immediately address the issue. Because my thought is what are you going to do? Punch me in the face? Guess what? I did it for a living. You're going to have to punch pretty fucking hard in order to knock me out. So you better do it, because if you try to go for a punch, I rest assured I'll make it you fucking regret it. but I've never had that kind of an issue because anytime someone's had talked shit behind my back, and more recently, I just come up and say to them, hey, do we have an issue? I'm not really sure. It's so funny because every time that I will bring that up, they're like, oh, no. And this particular person, I had actually even confronted her at one point or another. Oh, no, I didn't say that. And of course, they'll lie, they'll backpedal. And these are, once again, they're teaching you something. They're teaching you not to be like that. And they're teaching you that you are taking the higher road. So, man, it seems like we've really progressed in the right direction. But I just loved how Jobber commented. He's such a tremendous guy. And I really wish we had interviewed him on, the live Google chat. Maybe one of these days we can get him back on and because he'll get us cracking up laughing. But
man,
good point. He and I are just video game nerds, so of course naturally he knew that I would be able to appreciate his point of in video games when you see more bad guys, you're going in the right direction. So
that's a valid point, and one that actually speaks to quite a few people. You know what I mean? They might get that reference better than fail to succeed. They might understand that better.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, seriously.
There's never been a good comic book. There's never been a comic book, in my opinion, that hasn't had a good villain. You're going to have villains in your life. Some of them are, you're not going to have some maniacal Joker who's trying to kill you and destroy the city. Right. But you're going to have, life's villains. They're going to come in and out of your life, and it's how you cope with them. And of course, building that tough skin and the ability to address them, it's going to become a skill set to you eventually.
Who was it that said this? Was it Andrew Carnegie, or it was maybe before him? I'm trying to reference the author's name. Anyway, he said there's no such thing as good or bad. Shakespeare, actually. No such things. There's no such thing as good or bad. Only what you give your attention to.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah, I just read that today, and I was like, whoa. That kind of set me back. I was like, wow, that's a whole mindset issue for something else, but it's true. I mean, the situation could be good or bad. It's how you handle it. So,
Tremendous.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, we're starting to get up towards our hour mark, man. It was really fun. We actually did 2 podcasts straight in a row, man. So that was a marathon. But of course, for us, I mean, shit, I think you and I have easily talked in a Google Hangout, not recorded, for 2-3 hours straight before. So.
Absolutely. We got the stamina, man. But hey, there's just a lot to talk about. Here's the thing: we both are on the same path and the wavelengths. So yeah, we can just meander on forever.
For sure. Maybe one of these days, maybe we can do like a fundraiser of some sort, like a 24-hour Google Hangout, and any proceeds that we have, we can go towards like a good charity or something like that. I think that would be tremendous.
Dude, that's actually kind of a cool idea. You know what I mean? We could have guests popping in all day long and stuff. Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
I love it. Let's talk Carol Langkamp. We'll force her to stay awake. I know Carol's watching this. Carol is, I wouldn't say she's our #1 fan, but she's definitely one of our best friends. And she's probably saying, yeah.
She's
right.
she's definitely a lovely person, man. I mean, honestly, I haven't met her yet, but just kind of message back and forth, and yeah, just a really, really great person. So
she actually has a YouTube channel. Anybody's ever interested in going on there? She's actually a pretty new self-published author. She does a lot about weight loss motivation. She's actually lost over 100 pounds herself, and
that's impressive.
She's got an amazing story to tell, and she's very human. And she is very real in her publications, and she's sharing a very vulnerable side. So, anybody that's needing that weight loss motivation, make sure that you follow Carol Langkamp. That's spelled Langkamp. Carol Langkamp's tremendous. And she's probably watching this show, and she's probably blushing like, you guys. Watch out, though, man. Seriously. This woman legit slapped me a couple times during a personal training session. Seriously. And she's got like these long, I think I've even told her, she's got like these long ape arms that like, she's like, boom, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, am I wrestling right now?
You're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, what's happening?
That's
I thought
awesome.
we were just training people, not fighting.
That's awesome.
Well, hey, man, it looks like it's getting towards the end of the hour. It's been awesome getting to connect with you. It's getting about that time of night, right about 7:30 my time. About another half hour, I'll be calling it quits for the night so I can spend some quality time with my wife. We're actually going to go out and get some Lenny and Larry cookies.
Dude.
No, I have no affiliate link. I'm sorry, in the thing, but hey, you can get Lenny and Larry's if you go to the show description and click on that Amazon link.
That's true.
Lenny and Larry's cookies are phenomenal.
I was just gonna ask you, do they sell them on Amazon? Because
yes, they do. They do actually. And the thing is,
any stores
and Sprouts, actually, we found a deal. It's over today. It's only $1.25 per cookie, and it's big. These things are big, very filling cookies. They're vegan, by the way, too. So that's the huge selling point for us. Which, by the way, if you're a meat eater and you're hearing this, just ignore the vegan comment, all right? Seriously, you will fall in love with Lenny and Larry's. And they're not paying me anything. This is not me just trying to sell you on an affiliate thing. Hey, fuck it. You can go to Lenny and Larry's site if you want to and buy it off there. I'm telling you, they have phenomenal cookies. You'll even see in some of my videos. Actually, in the interview with Jason Brock, I have my Lenny and Larry's shirt on. It's like 2 sizes too small, I think.
I think D1 Bainey, you were on it.
Could have been a D1 interview, I think. But yeah, Lenny and Larry's phenomenal cookies, $1.25 a piece. They're normally about $2.50 a piece.
Wow, no, that's incredible, man. To be honest with you, some of the best meals that I've had have been vegan, and I've been a meat and potatoes guy my whole life. But
it's really tough because I was a huge meat eater as well. When I was a wrestler, at being 220, I ate a ton of meat. That was primarily most of my diet. I was eating a lot of salmon, beef, chicken, more chicken, tons of fish. Chicken. Yeah, tuna. I ate tuna
I love tuna.
Oh my good Lord! Some people were like, watch me sit there, just open up a can, and I just straight up eat it out there. It was a delicacy to me like that, man. I go to wrestling shows. Of course, I'd have complete tuna breath as I'm talking to somebody in the ring. Tackle, drop down, leapfrog, smell my breath.
They're like going,
dude, Lou, stop! You
dude, just pin me, get this shit over with.
Fuck, ment, tackle, drop down, get the fuck out of the ring and put a ment in your mouth.
That's awesome.
Folks, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I could speak on behalf of Kevin. We really appreciate you tuning into this show. It means the world to us that you actually listen to this stuff, and rest assured, you should be able to pick up a few nuggets of wisdom as you go along here. And you can always go into past episodes. Rest assured, future episodes are going to be just phenomenal. Next Wednesday, I'm going to have Dustin Reyes Frazier coming on. Dustin Reyes is a independent professional wrestler. Recently, he broke his collarbone, and he's had to really rethink a lot of his direction. His free time has given him some time to actually open up his entrepreneurial his experience there, and he's really thought about some great things outside the box. So getting Dustin on this show is going to show you somebody who is currently starting his way into an entrepreneurial world and actually has had some bit of success. So he's heading down in a really awesome path. You're going to learn a little bit about the t-shirt business that he's established, as well as the supplement business that he's starting to really build. The next week after that, I'm really, really happy. I actually sat down for about an hour and a half at her office in Scottsdale, in Old Town Scottsdale here in Arizona. And her name is Kathleen Nightingale. Kathleen Nightingale is a certified hypnotherapist as well as a mindset coach. So my boy, Kevin here, he's all about the mindset. Now, I'm not that I'm against mindset, but he's really about mindset. And she actually has a website called mustangmindset.com. So if you got a little chance, if you're listening to this and it's prior to that show, which is going to be on the 11th.
Yeah.
We have the 11th. Go to mustangmindset.com. Take a look. She actually has like a free downloadable guided meditation, correct?
It's a 30-minute guided meditation. Yes. Go get it.
Yeah. She's a tremendous woman. Her husband is a hoot. I hope to have Dr. Nightingale on one of these times, but I'm going to have her on. And she's got a lot of great, valuable information. And she actually talks about mindset for the entrepreneurs. So if you're finding that you're getting in your own way, Kathleen's going to hopefully help you unlock some of those things and get the tumblers moved into the right position so that you can unlock and get yourself moving into that direction. And then after that actually is our rescheduled guest. Once again, a miscommunication from today was going to be Melina Shaw from networking360.org. Melina is a dynamo. I'm telling you this, Kevin, you're going to have to wait longer for Melina. She is a tremendous personality. She is a person that knows almost everybody in the Valley here in Arizona. And I promise you this, within the next 5 years, Melina Shaw is going to be a household name. I just guarantee you, she is just a wonderful, radiant person. Another one who's much like some of our past guests. She just has that it factor. It's a very contagious energy. And it's so funny, her missing the show. She just like text after text. I'm just horrified. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. She's so awesome. Like literally, like stuff happens. And
hey, not a big deal. It gave us the opportunity to knock these out, and hey, worked out just how it was supposed to.
Sure did. So I think we're actually beyond our hour. Any last words, my friend?
No, man, this was great tonight. I really enjoyed this, and everybody's listening. Again, look in the show description because there's going to be some links and stuff for you to check out down there.
Yeah, with the exception actually right now live, if you happen to be watching, which we have 0 viewers right now. that's an ego check. It's like nobody gives a fuck about live. They're like, just catch you later.
Well, we're on past our normal time, so
yeah, that is very true. So yeah, in the show description, as soon as it's out in the next 24 hours, I imagine as soon as I disconnect here, it's going to process the videos. I'll have that in the show description there. So yeah, please shop for those links. And actually, I will have a link for K-Book promotions in that show description as well. That's something that we were just discussing. Really awesome,
valuable resource.
Absolutely. Maybe one of these days we can get D1 on. I got to talk to him. He's a good buddy of mine. So hey, wherever you're at in the world, whatever you do, please make sure that you're doing something that makes you happy, because you just never know when life is going to be over for you. And I don't want that to happen anytime soon. But let's not take any chances. Do what you love and love what you do. In the meantime, Kevin, my boy, let's stop that broadcast.
Have a good night.
Just a reminder, you can support the show by simply shopping at Amazon through the link in the show description. Every time you make a purchase through the provided link, a small percentage of sales goes back to support our show and cover overhead costs. And there's no additional cost to you, and it greatly helps us out. Simply go to the link, bookmark it in your browser, and do your shopping on Amazon at no extra cost to you while you support your 2 favorite podcast personalities, Bootstrap Businessmen.
Absolutely, Dale. And also, everybody, just as a reminder, you can follow us at Stitcher.com. Just type in Bootstrap Businessmen. It's going to, pull up all of our shows and episodes so you can listen to us there. Go to SoundCloud.com. Type in Bootstrap Businessmen. iTunes.com. And type in Bootstrap Businessmen. And you can follow us. You can download the podcast on your phone if you have an iPhone. Stitcher and SoundCloud both have an app that you can put on your phone so you never miss an episode.